Kowloon Generic Romance is one of the romance anime that aired in 2025 and was nominated for the Anime Awards, though not for any of the big categories, for background design. And it's a series that felt a lot like a shoujo or particularly a yosei manga, but instead is more of a seinen series, or adapting one. It's also a series where I feel like the art style does not work in animation, in motion, quite as it works on the page in manga. Kowloon Generic Romance follows Reiko Kujirai, a 32-year-old realtor in a reborn version of Kowloon Walled City who is dating her coworker, Hajime Kudo. However, something isn't quite right about this Kowloon. Reiko keeps getting flashes of another possible, seemingly ruined version of Kowloon Walled City, and she finds a picture of Kudo with another her. Another her who appears to be dead. And the story follows her as she tries to investigate this, while also branching off to other residents of this Kowloon, like part-time workers Yaohei, seamstress Yomei, bartender Tao Gwen, and doctor and businessman Miyuki Hebinuma, who helps and sometimes hinders Reiko as she tries to get to the bottom of what this Kowloon is. Now, consequently, while the story is told in full here, it's hard to get into the nitty-gritty of the narrative in this video because this is a story that can be spoiled. The overall mystery of the series has been executed well, but it does fall into some mixed mystery box concepts, as much of the story is about regret, trauma, and grief, and how those draw these characters to New Kowloon. Thus, if the story has to choose between exploring those themes or explaining the mystery, it focuses on the themes. This means that if one character's core role in the narrative feels like an afterthought, while another character's role, while important to the overall story, feels unexplained, at least in terms of why they're able to do the important things that they do for the overall story. Visually, this series has a throwback style in terms of its music and visuals. There are some real 80s and 90s vibes to the music, which makes sense because Kowloon Walled City, the real one in the real world, was demolished in the 90s. The art style also feels like something of a throwback to the 80s and 90s as well. This leads to a little bit of the weakness of the show. The manga has an art style that fits with that period, particularly with a little bit of detail and texture. Now, that detail and texture works well in the backgrounds in the animation, in the overall environments that characters are in, but when it comes to the characters themselves and putting all this into motion, there's a few cases whenever things get really involved where it doesn't quite work right. In the smaller, slower moments, things fit. They're able to let it work properly, but once stuff actively happens, then it runs into problems. I'm not going to show this here because it's spoilers, obviously, but the finale of this series feels particularly ambitious in its visuals, but it isn't executed very well in the anime. Now, this isn't a strike against the show's animation. It does feel like they wanted to pull that off and get that sense of scope and spectacle to it, but they either didn't have the time to pull it off properly with the broadcast schedule, or they didn't have the staff to pull it off, either through manpower or staff, like number of staff, or ones with the particular skill set needed to get what it would look like in this particular retro style. That said, it's a great story. What we get in the visuals is enough of a teaser to make me want to read the manga, which is honestly a big win for the creators of the manga, and I'm looking forward to reading that in the not too distant future. Links to where you can watch the show in the doobly-doo. I also have a link to where you can pick up the manga as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe. And also consider backing my Patreon. Patreon backers get episodes up to 1 week early of this show and any future Let's Plays. Also, please consider backing my Ko-fi. Toss me a few bucks also helps support the show, and it's not a monthly obligation or anything like that.